listen, I could go all night about these three guys, but it is truly, truly, truly a privilege of mine to know that the village will be in such good hands with committed volunteers and three people who are truly for the people. So without further ado, my dear friend and someone I'm so proud, our next mayor of Malvern, Perry Cuocci.
Thank you, Mayor Corbett. I normally would say I don't know if I deserve all that credit, but I'm going to take it. I'm going to change a little. People like, what Mayor Corbett didn't get into, all right, is the pandemic. Well, so what happens in the pandemic? We lost in revenue $1.8 million to this village, right? And in the $16 to $17 million budget, that's enormous. Okay, but yet your property taxes over the last 4 years, as he said, 0.04% increase, lowest in any 4-year period of Malvern. How does that happen? That happens through leadership, all right? A lot of credit does go to the mayor, but also the board, right? You lay out a plan, okay? The plan isn't just a matter of showing up at a village board meeting and voting yes, and then just going home and letting everyone else worry about it, right? You have a plan that you set forward and then you implement it, all right? You need the horses on this village board in order to go out there, and I'm telling you now, with the three of us here, you have thoroughbreds. All right, we do not sit on the sidelines. We're always in the game. We're never on the sidelines. All right, that's part of why I'm doing this. Okay, I wish we can continue with Mayor Corbett, but for his reasons, his own personal reasons, he had to step aside, and I'm more than happy to do this. I want this. I don't have to. Some of the things that we did in order to keep that lower tax, you got to cut expenses, right? So you go out to all your village departments. And you don't just ask them, you've got to sit down with them and go through their budgets and find ways that they can save money and make sure you hold them to it. Now we have great leaders out there of our village services and they work with us, but you've got to take the time and the effort to go on there. He mentioned the street lighting project. That street lighting project I put together, right? NIPA from Albany came in and sponsored that and funded it. That was meetings that had to be set up that I attended. Once the project started, there was project management that went along that I did. Myself and DPW Superintendent Kevin Brady was out. We were out at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, looking for the dark areas of Malvern and what can be done and where we needed to add light and what's not. It all gets done, right? We get the sign-offs. We went fully live in July, and we're already about a $60,000 savings in our electric bill. Right, we revamped the parking system, right, with the tickets out there, how many outstanding parking tickets we have. People may not like that, you get tickets and whatnot, but listen, that is a source of revenue for this village, right? So we revamped the system. It didn't happen by itself, okay? I'm the one that sat down and got this third-party company. I'm the one that sat down for the meetings. I brought the police department in. I brought the judge and the court systems in. I brought the mayor and the village board in. Right? And now we've revamped that system where it has gone live and we're already seeing increased revenues. It's still too early to give you an exact amount, but there's already increased revenues coming in from that. That's how you do it, all right? You have a plan, but you go out there and you implement it. You don't just show up and vote yes, and then 6 months later you take credit for it. Now, volunteerism, okay? Part of being leadership is volunteering. I'll put our resumes up against anybody. I mean, anybody. The 3 resumes that we have here. Again, we're not just sitting here talking about it. Right? You go between the ambulance corps, the police reserves, the farm, the youth board, civic, the lighting of Malvern, the celebration committee. You look at it, and we don't just do it ourselves. Right? This is a family event for all of us. Right? All of our family. My wife is a co-chair of the celebrations committee. My daughter sings at these different events. The Prizzies are all involved. The Lewises are all involved. Again, we don't sit on the sidelines, right? We get into the game. We've always been that way. I put up our volunteer activities against anyone in this village, right? And that includes our opponents. Okay, again, nothing against them, but I don't see that they have that. That's part of leadership. Okay, part of leadership is showing it by example, doing it yourself, and getting it done for the village residents. So the mayor did point out, I have an extensive background in law enforcement. I was with the FBI for over 20 years. I even have friends here from the law enforcement community. You don't even little, and thank you guys for showing up. But Brian, you said this the other day about this story we had about what kind of village this is in Malvern. Okay, so many years ago, I was on an arrest of MS-13 gangsters. I mean, bad, the real deal, bad people. They're in jail now, life. Some are actually on death row. Right, but they go, we arrest. The case agent is showing a Hagshaw map, right? So that tells you how long ago this was. So he says, but Barry, he goes, come over here. He knew, as a friend of mine, he knew where I lived. He goes, take a look at this. Big magic marker around Malvern. Stay away, too many cops. So I said, do me a favor. It had nothing to do with the case. I said, just ask him, what did that mean? So he did. The leader of the MS-13, when they did debrief him and interview him, they asked him, like, well, what was this about? He says, well, he goes, we measured the response time of the police department. They come in here and make a 911 call, a false call, and just see how quick. We're right here. Everyone knows. We're right here in the southern state. It's not hard. They hit the sun and say, get out of here. When you have these people, the real deal, saying, stay away from Malvern, that tells you the value of what our police department is. And, well, there's a reason why we're the safest village in New York State. I look to continue that. You know, and I boldly say, who's better qualified than me, especially in this election. Again, with all the background that I have in it, and I look to support them. Again, we're not going to get crazy. We got to keep our village budget in line, but you know, we're going to give them the resources they need. Why? To keep the public safe. That's what it's all about. So that's why we have right behind us a new village police department going up. Okay, and I know you'll hear out in the street, oh, it was promised we'd come years ago, and you know, they just ignored it. There's nothing could be further from the truth. Okay, pandemic hit, right? No one can plan for this. I dare to say, you know, we actually did look at it, and all of the supply chain issues and all the costs quadrupled, right? So the only way to do that 3 years ago or 2 years ago was to raise taxes. That's not going to happen, okay? Not under our watch. So what did we do? We waited until the village was in a position, right, to fund the police department, to be built the way it should be built, and give our law enforcement officers, who are fantastic, the tools that they need, without raising significantly our tax. Actually, not raising them at all. So again, planning, implementing, we got it all. I'm looking to continue that. That's something that I've learned from Mayor Corbett, and I appreciate him having me by his side. And I got to be in on all those meetings and see how it worked, but I'm looking to expand that. And with these two thoroughbreds, right? And I always feel a little weird standing in between. Right? These thoroughbreds next to me, right? You all need to send us there together, okay? Because as a team is where we're really at. Okay, the three of us together can really continue and expand the work that Mayor Corbett and his administration has done that. And I promise you all that. You'll get 110% effort from me, right? Yeah, I've always been that way, and nothing's going to change that. So please support our ticket, because I think we are the ones to lead Malvern for the next 4 years.